Time now is 8:21. For lots of people, their pets simply part of the family, crucial part of the family, really. Old age, though, can mean some owners no longer feel they can give them the exercise and the care they need. Sometimes that results in the animal needing to be rehomed.
So the charity Age UK has decided to help hundreds of older people in York to keep their beloved pets by pairing them up with volunteers who help out with walks and vet appointments. Our reporter, Phil Connell, can explain.
One more, that's it, come on up.
Leonora is 80 years old and lives in York with her Jack Russell dog Freddie, a four-legged friend who for 10 years has been constantly by her side.
There's his hair going, isn't it?
In recent years, though, Leonora's failing health means caring for Freddie hasn't been easy.
It's just so restricting that I can't move around as fast. But he seems to sense it.
So what does this little dog mean to you, and what would life be like without him?
I dread to think of it. I keep telling him he can't go before me. I said, no, he's got to outlive me. Yeah, he's my lifeline. Hello.
And here in York, Kirsty Dixon is ensuring that lifeline continues. She's one of 100 volunteers in the city, helping older people to keep their pets at home. A bit of extra help with walking Freddie, which means he and Leonora can stay together.
With Leonora, if she didn't have this service, she'd have to give up Freddie. And, you know, being he is her little friend and lifeline.
So we know what Freddie gets from this, but what do you get from being a volunteer?
Oh, I just love it. They are part of the family, and the thought of having to give up your pet, oh my goodness, it would, you know, it bring tears to my eyes now just thinking about it.
Although animal care is provided by a few other smaller charities, York is the only place where Age UK provides this special service. A lifeline for thousands of people they now hope to extend across the country.
Here we go, in you go, little man.
And after a good long walk with Kirsty, Freddie is happy to be home, ready to spend the day with Leonora, her friend and loyal companion. Phil Connell, BBC News, York.
Do you know that final shot? Simon Holmes is with us this morning, Chief Executive of Age UK York. Morning to you.
Good morning.
That final image of that report, you know, the bond between an older person and their pet, that kind of says it all, doesn't it? It matters.
It is absolutely crucial for older people. So as Age UK York, it's at the heart of this Keep Your Pet service. We've been doing it for over 10 years and it's all needs-led. It's the older person, you know, their companion is this pet. It could be a dog, a cat. We have bearded dragons in the past as well. It's vital, that companionship. It's quite often their sole companion during the day, and our volunteers are there to try and keep that bond together, whatever might happen.
Can you give us, obviously not names, but can you give us some examples of people who've come through the system, who have benefited, who've probably been quite despairing, thinking, I really think I'm going to lose my pet because I can't do the right thing?
Yeah, I mean, we saw an example just now as to the difference that makes. But, I mean, one example, someone we're helping at the moment, is largely around health, coming in and out of hospital, the uncertainty of treatment, and when, for example, their appointments might be. So we're helping someone whose cat's called Flossie, and she's very uncertain, she's very worried about what's going to happen to her cat if she needs to go in for an operation or treatment. So, again, one of our volunteers, we built that rapport with them. She now knows that her cat, Flossie, is going to be in the best of hands as well, whenever the need might arise. So we're there, and that person get the treatment they need in hospital at the time they need it most.
It's not just going in, taking the pet out for a walk, a dog, for example. It's, as you get older, a lot of people feel not confident being out on their own.
Yeah.
You know, be it because they might feel more frail, less stable on their feet, or just, you know, concerned about being outside on their own. So there's that companionship as well to accompany them on walks as well, isn't there?
There is, and as Age UK York and the Age UK network across the country, befriending's a really big thing. And we do accompanied walks as part of this Keep Your Pet service. I mean, there's someone we're helping at the moment, sadly, who's got the onset of dementia as well. So we do accompanied walks because he loves walking his dog, but he does sometimes get lost. And as a result, we're there, so there's that reassurance, a helping hand, and they're still able to keep that connection with that pet.
There's also the practicalities of owning a pet, isn't there? You know, vets, for example, vet appointments, keeping those as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my own dog as well, and I'm sure any pet owner listening in on this today will testify to those. It's never ending in terms of some of those responsibilities, etc. as well. But it's, again, we help with a whole range of things from food and dog walks right through to vets as well. Anything we can do to lend a helping hand and basically reassure that older person that their pet's being looked after and give that care when it's needed.
You clearly, as an organisation, are reliant on volunteers, aren't you? Because on the face of it, if it were people being paid to do this, and there are companies, don't they, that do this kind of work where you pay someone to come and help look after your dog, you rely on people who give up their time.
We do completely. We've got about 100 or so volunteers.
This
that
is
make
just in
happen.
York?
It's just in York, this service at the moment. I mean, we're looking at how we might be able to encourage, and not just encourage other Age UKs to pick it up, but anyone as a neighbour, anyone if you come across somebody perhaps that might need a helping hand. For example, with their pet. But yeah, the volunteers, I mean, they actually founded this service, just over a decade ago now as well. They're the heart and soul of it, from helping and making the service run to things like fundraising as well, because it's a free service, but of course it costs us to make it happen.
Yeah, and what are the qualifications or the qualities you need to be one of those people who helps out? By the way, did you say it was what was the creature you mentioned?
Bearded dragon.
A bearded dragon.
A bearded dragon.
That's one of the unique ones.
Which presumably doesn't need an awful lot of maintenance. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't really know.
No, I don't think perhaps certainly no dog walking, for example, would be my. But of course, for us and the volunteers, we go through things like DBS as a process to go through. But it's the the kindness, the compassion, the values that you'd hope from a charity, and trying to look after another person and their beloved pet as well.
How long does it take to match people up?
We've got a team, colleague Bev and others, that would look at this, would kind of do a bit of a risk assessment, the kind of process, but it's understanding the person at the need, what their circumstances are, because every circumstance is unique. But of course, there's that common thread of that companionship as well. So we'd match them up, and again, volunteers would be there, so we have a kind of regularity to a volunteer. And we saw with Freddie just the bond between Kirsty, our volunteer, and Freddie the dog.
Tell me about the dog cafes in care homes.
Yeah, the dog cafes. So that's a local thing in York again. We work with the council, and it's for people largely that would love to have their own pet, but for whatever reason can't. And so there's a big social and kind of compassionate piece here as well around bringing pets and people together as well. So there's a social element. So we come together as a cafe, very relaxed atmosphere, and they get to spend time with pets, really. Dogs jumping up and down.
I bet you just see faces light
attention.
up, don't you?
Yeah, you do, absolutely. It's a really, for us as Age UK, York, and more widely, loneliness and social isolation is something that we see in our communities every day. And this is just one part of our efforts, along with many others, to try and combat it.
The cat over your left shoulder is giving you a bit of a look. You got a dog yourself. What's your dog?
I do. She's probably watching from home. That's Scarla. She's a cockapoo.
If you come in again,
Bring her.
you can bring her along.
Yeah, I know she would have loved to have got a bit of attention this morning. So
She would have got a lot. She would have got a lot.
Take up the invitation.
Dogs always win on the sofa.